A very good afternoon, and live from the heart of Johannesburg and equally the heart of Northern Plumstead, a very good evening and a warm welcome to Two Full Tossers, brought to you this week by the Darrell Hare Umpiring Academy, going now for 18 years and yet to have a single member graduate. But still a wonderful institution, and we're very proud to be associated with, as am I, enormously proud to be associated with the great Alan Committie, who I know, Alan, it's been yet another week of great dedication in not watching the IPL.
That's right. Good evening to you, Dan. Lovely to be reporting to you from the ash-stricken Cape Town. It's been a wild couple of days. But I have, even through these devastating apocalyptic times, managed to not watch some IPL. Sometimes I get up earlier to not watch less. Sometimes I tune in on multiple TV sets to have many opportunities to miss the IPL. I can report that some of the teams that we have been following have done very well on occasion, but also equally lost. Others have lost initially and then won later, and that they all now have points, except for those who don't. Some are leading, others aren't. And once again, the IPL is proving a complete success for those who like that sort of thing, and a delightful bore for those who hate it.
There we go. You'll get no more insightful a summary on the world of 20-over cricket in India than from the great Alan Committie. And even Alan will be moved to discuss an innings he did not watch, which was AB de Villiers in majestic form. But before we do that, there are two reasons people tune into this show, other than the combined fashion prowess of the two of us. One of those is our very special guest. And gee, do we have a special guest for you tonight. I am particularly excited, not as excited as he is, but I am particularly excited. But also, people tune in to find out who Alan's lost legend is, who, in rummaging through the dumpster outside Wisden's headquarters, you have found in a shredded folder and pieced back together with precision to give us somebody whose own family, we're not entirely aware, had actually played cricket at some sort of level. We'll reveal who this is just a little later in the show, but we'll get a glimpse at the photo. This is your lost legend, Alan.
There he is, looking very suave in front of a piece of artwork. Is that a clue? I don't know. But this gentleman is not Lee Barnard. Obviously, that's the great lost legend. But who is he? Perhaps you know. Perhaps you'd like to type in something into the chat bar on your computer and share with us your thoughts. Do you know who this week's lost legend is? We will reveal it in a couple of minutes.
Indeed we will. Indeed we will. We'll also be revealing in a few minutes who our special guest is.
Is it Kevin Peterson? Is it Kevin Peterson?
Well, it was going to be Kevin Peterson. And the last minute, we managed to get an upgrade, and we've gone one better. In fact, we've probably gone, I think technically it's about 7 better than Kevin Peterson, and we'll reveal who that is in just a couple of moments. But before we do that, and before we have a quick look back at the Pakistan series, AB de Villiers, the innings you did not watch for a team you don't support in a competition you steadfastly ignore, even by his standards. There was one shot that you didn't watch, Alan, off the back foot, over extra cover. It's daft. He makes a mockery of the game.
He makes a complete mockery of the game. It was an extraordinary innings that I didn't get to see. And then even but it seemingly mistakes go for 4, but in the most magnificent fashion. That beamer that kind of came to his right shoulder and he just glanced it down to third man. He played, as he always does, all around the field. As you said, made a complete silliness of any of the opposition captains' choices, field placements, the bowling, acumen that was thrown at him. There was no acumen. It was just downright. They just gave up, didn't they? They'd have to. The man is magnificent. And now, Dan, they tell me, as they do every time he bats well, that perhaps he might come back to the cricket fold of South Africa. Dare we believe? Should we believe? Must we believe? What's the story? You know more about these things than I do.
Well, there are high-level negotiations going on, which, I mean, they happened at the top floor of a hotel, and they are continuing, and we would love to see him back. I suspect it might well happen, and we'll live in hope, because that might push us towards that elusive victory. Although tonight we do have a South African Cricket World Cup winning captain. There's a clue to throw forward. Can you guess who this person is? And he is coming up in just a moment. But very quickly, looking back on the series, brilliant opening partnerships. They were world class. And then otherwise, we just battled a little bit against Pakistan.
Yeah, we did. Listen, we've got to give credit where credit is due. They played superbly well, as they have been doing over the last couple of months and perhaps even years. That side is certainly kind of gelling, the Pakistan side. And South Africa weren't without some of their superstars, and there are many excuses we can make. But we got to say, and I say that with some, I don't want to spell it out, but is all I'll say. And Mark Boucher, who, I love the guy and I'm a huge fan. And anyway, this is it. We've got to give everyone a chance, and we'll keep pushing. And no doubt there will be lessons learned. But as you say, there were some standout performances, and that was great. Certainly our top order batsmen had moments to shine, some brilliant innings. That was all fantastic. So there you are.
I've analysed this, and
go on.
I know you've analysed it as well, and from your time manually changing scoreboards and umpiring at Westerford, you have a breadth of cricket knowledge that is scandalously ill-utilised by our current cricketing structures, as is mine own. But I feel if you look at that last game, I think we played 8 bowlers. We were probably 3 bowlers short. So if I'd like to see a side where Nokia and Rabada and Ngidi and Shamsi and Maharaj and Sean Pollock and Mackay and Tini and Tando and Tini.
And Alan Curry.
Alan Curry would be a fantastic addition. Then possibly Aiden Markram, because he bats and bowls as well, but he's mostly a bowler. Batsman as well, he's mostly a bowler. And then maybe space for, say, Fani de Villiers could wrap. And there we go. 11 bowlers. You cannot lose a T20 game with that lineup. Would be my considered opinion.
Well, I think you're brilliant. I would have gone slightly different. I do agree with you. You make valid points, as you always do. Personally, I would have gone for 14 wicket keepers. You see, but it's a slightly different match perception, isn't it? I'm coming at it from a slightly different angle.
And not a bad angle. Not, in fact,
never a bad angle.
You're bowling left arm through and over. Which is unusual, but could probably dislocate your shoulder. But it's worth trying in the spirit of invention.
100%. Now, talking of bowlers, the other big news, which I don't know if you've seen, earlier today, Vernon Philander, one of our previous guests on Two Full Tosses, has announced, because I think he did so badly in one of our tests, in one of our exam moments, has decided to go back to cricket. So he'd probably be available as well.
He's the new Skulk Brits. He is back. And
Unbelievable. I'm now wondering if Lee Barnard, could we get Lee Barnard back into?
I think we could.
Let's put out a call. Please, Lee Barnard. It can't be too late. Your time is now.
The people's choice.
The people have spoken. We have spoken.
Speaking of people speaking, as they have spoken, a message here from Gavin Welsh. Can we please get Jonathan Trott on the show? He's keen. Look, he has been phoning relentlessly. He sent me a fax last week. I've got 11 Facebook friend requests from him. He's actually started 11 different accounts. But I think we can possibly acquiesce and see.
Because if you remember, I gave him out twice when I was teaching at Westerford. So no doubt he will want to get some kind of personal revenge. Let's get Jonathan Trott on here.
That's right. With you that he stabs before he goes to bed every night.
He was very upset, as he should be, because...
All right. Gavin, we would love to have Jonathan Trott on the show, and we will definitely rope him in the next little while. And then Eric Scoble, who has clearly been drinking heavily once again. 11 batsmen, as long as they can each bowl an over with less than 2 no balls. There we go.
Controversial. I like that. Very good.
Go back to your inexpensive, slightly too sweet white wine out of a box, and we shall continue with far more important things, such as the highlights of every week's show, other than our special guest will be with us in just a moment. Here we go. Watched right around the world. This is Alan's Lost Legend.
This week's Lost Legend, there he is sitting in front of an artwork that should have been a clue, is none other than former Western Province wicketkeeper and Mr. Nicest guy ever to play cricket, Richie Ryle. Do you recall? Yes, there we go, Nicky Ferreira. Well done, you lass. Richie Ryle. This was a stalwart of the Western Province, provincial side, all through the 80s, early 90s, Mr. Reliable behind the stumps, over 400 first-class catches, and but also an artist on the cricket field. Not necessarily at playing cricket. No, he was an artist and continues to be a brilliant artist. Here, in a bizarre thing, is he's painted himself. Clearly, he had some time, and there he is, breaking the bales, slightly weird-looking bales, if I'm honest. I don't think Benson and Hedges sponsored those. But there is Richie Ryle, definitely a lost legend. A big shout-out to this man. Wonderful cricketer, fantastic guy. And this week's no Lee Barnard, but our lost legend, Richie Ryle. We love Richie Ryle.
Oh, indeed we do. What a great asset. And I remember his painting days. You would, any achievement of worth, you received a Richie Ryle painting. So you played 100 test matches, a Richie Ryle painting. You got 150 test wickets, a Richie Ryle painting. In fact, I remember Paul Adams becoming the first South African cricketer bowling left arm unorthodox to take 10 test wickets in his career against India, receiving a Richie Ryle painting. So in fact, Sean Pollock has got a third garage, which just has a collection of Richie Ryle artworks propped up against walls and balanced on top of each other. If that were still the case, I tell you what, Alan Committie, there would be a good dozen or so Richie Ryle paintings in the house of this man, because he is single best batsman in the world, currently not called AB. He is astounding. He had a brilliant series against Pakistan. I don't like him very much because he takes lots of money off me on the golf course, but he's a brilliant guy, fabulous cricketer. He is our special guest tonight on Two Full Tosses. Please welcome Aiden Markram.
Oh, this is a star.
Hello, Dan.
Aiden, welcome and congratulations, because I know that you lost the series against Pakistan, and that maybe playing 9 bowlers in the final game proved not to be the success we all thought it might. But from a batting perspective, you were just unplayable. You had Pakistanis in tears.
I wouldn't call it that. But yeah, it was an interesting series. So much of the time we thought we were in positions to win the game, and almost positions where you thought we couldn't lose the game, and somehow ended up on the losing side. So frustrating in a sense. Personally, also never satisfied with the amount of runs. You always want more, but it's a series that I would have taken, especially not seeing myself playing or being a big part of it initially when the squads were selected.
When you're out there, you just look so comfortable. You look so relaxed, and some of the shots, some of those cover drives over extra for 6, are just extraordinary. Is that all pure instinct, or is that just in the moment? Bang! There we go.
Yeah, it definitely is. So I mean, you get your freaks like A.B. de Villiers of the world that's sort of able to, in a sense, predict what's coming. But for most of us, we try to keep our minds very clear and let instinct take over and almost just react to the ball. So it's not something that you're looking for. It is something that almost just happens. And when they come off, you're super satisfied with it and relieved it's happened, because obviously it's quite a high-risk game of cricket is T20 cricket nowadays. And it's definitely something you want to entertain people with. So that's sort of the mindset we, as a team, are trying to play with. To be extremely brave and make big decisions early on in the game, and see if we can sort of put our stamp down and throw that first punch, as people say. So definitely instinctive, and something where, like you say, you can just sort of free yourself up and enjoy the shorter format of the game.
You definitely have. Sorry, go.
I must ask something first, Alan, because this is very important. I asked it for a reason, because I'd like to know, Alan, did you consider yourself to be in a similarly instinctive mould when batting at 5 for the Westerford second 11?
Yes, and when I batted at 5, that was always a mistake. They had obviously put me up earlier because my mother did the tees as well. Because of that, and she made great tees, so I would sometimes bat at 5, but I was generally a very good number 9. But coming in even at number 9, I had the very similar instinct to Aiden. I would throw my back. You know, the thing about you, sir, is you are Mr. Entertainment. And here's a little lovely thing you might not have seen last week. As our guest, we had Barry Richards, the great Barry Richards. And we asked him towards the end of the show, who of the current players does he think best resembles him? And with no flinching, sir, he named you. He said Aiden Markram is the most similar to Barry Richards. I think that's an incredible, and by the way, I think he's right, but an incredible testimony to your ability to entertain and the fluency and the beauty to which you bring to a crease. So, I mean, that must be an incredible, it's a lovely thing to hear, I'm sure. But also at the moment, with the kind of flow you've got, you've had a good kind of domestic season, and to bring it into the international arena is I'm hoping, pleasing to you.
It's very pleasing, and then to hear a comment like that from the legend himself is super humbling as well. So, like you said, it's been, I mean, before the season had started, I'd been through quite a few rough patches, and then on the back of a few injuries as well. So certainly was quite frustrated, but also quite motivated coming into the series. So, not series season, sorry. So for it to have panned out the way it has is something I'm definitely very grateful for. Like I mentioned earlier, you're never satisfied and you always want more, but I suppose there's got to be that level of sort of being realistic and accepting what's happened as well. So I believe we're on the right path. We're going in the right direction, which is a big positive for us. And hopefully, like I say, we can just keep building and getting better, which is the most important thing, so that we can compete and get some good results going forward.
Of course, I think the Barry Richards comparison is a lovely one. It's obviously completely wrong, though, because the more accurate one, of course, would be the comparison with Pat Simcox as one of South Africa's great off-spinning all-rounders, which is a far more real assessment of your true talent, Aiden Markram.
Jeepers, now we're talking, Dan. I thought you guys forgot about that. No, that is jeepers.
Do you like bowling? Do you like bowling?
I
Because I know
really enjoy it.
fellas hated bowling. You seem to quite enjoy it.
I enjoy it, especially in the white ball format when you're quite limited with the ball like I am. It's nice to have a lot of guys on the boundaries to protect the boundaries. In red ball cricket, in your test matches and stuff, you get found out quite early if you don't have enough control. But I think you get away with a bit more in white ball cricket. You take wickets when you don't expect because of the nature of the game and batters wanting to score and taking more risks. So certainly love my bowling. I have actually, on a serious note, put quite a bit of work into it over the last 18, 24 months. So it's been given a chance here and there is what we're after at this moment in time. And then it's about doing well in those chances that hopefully gives us more opportunities going forward. But yeah, something I enjoy and something that hopefully we can keep working on and developing.
Was bowling part of your armory when you were kind of at schoolboy level and early years?
Not too much, to be honest with you, Alan. I think when you at that age, you almost just put your sole focus on one. Or if you're part-time like I am, you don't put too much focus on the other. You just really enjoy your batting and you want to bat and bat and bat as much as you can. So it took a few years past school to believe that I still could play a role with the ball. I suppose that your varsity crickets and your club crickets, naturally, you're not shy to ask for the ball and bowl and ask to. But I think there's a bit more pressure when it comes down to doing it on maybe an international stage or on the domestic circuit. You need to know yourself that you've put in some work. So I had to change my approach with regards to bowling in a sense and just put some work in. It's not about spending hours and hours on end or neglecting the batting at all, but just to sort of pay it some love and some attention in some regard, just to feel ready if we were miraculously ever asked to turn the arm over.
I've had the pleasure of watching some glorious innings of yours live at Newlands. Do you have a single memory in your relatively shortish career that already stands out and that you go, that was a day to try and recreate over and over?
Sure, Ellen, sorry, I'm not sure if it's my Wi-Fi, but something's broken up there. Can you repeat that, please? Sorry.
Sure. I said that I've had the pleasure of watching you live on a couple of occasions where you've scored magnificently, for example, at Newlands. And do you have any special memories in your reasonably short career that you've thought, that's the kind of innings I need to be playing over and over again?
Let me get off the white. Well, maybe not.
No memories at all. That's a bad question.
Well, that's it. He's walked out of the studio. This was bound to happen. After 13 or 14 episodes, to have not had a walkout is almost unacceptable. And finally, we've asked the most controversial question we could. And I'm quite proud of it, actually.
Do you have any nice memories? Right, that's it. I've had enough. I'm gone. Okay, so Mrs. Markram has been.
I think I got the gist of it.
Right, go on. You can answer anything, really. It doesn't matter. Just say anything.
Tomorrow's tea time is 8:30, I think. Is that what you're after?
Perfect. What a great
No, so yes, it's with regards to Newlands, I'm assuming you were after.
Just any great cricket memories, the ones that the particular innings that stand out.
And I'd assume, yes, anything to be involved with that Australia series is something that you'll remember forever. Obviously, the series itself was heated and pretty dramatic and things like that. But I'd probably say the one that meant most was the second innings in Durban in the first Test match. This was prior to the sandpaper gate being exposed, so it was quite a tough knock in a losing cause. But I think just from a personal note, just to have that belief that you can compete against him in the toughest of conditions and circumstances was something that I'll remember for a good while going forward.
On a not dissimilar note, is there a particular bowler who has caused you regular strife? Somebody who I'm happy to be at the non-strikers end for this over.
The two that come to mind straight off the top of my head is Pat Cummins, definitely, and Jasprit Bumrah. I think the two of them in their own rights are
pretty good bowlers.
Very good bowlers, yeah. and like you say, you're more than happy to be standing at the other side watching. I wish it was Dan fronting up to them. But yeah, it's much better off at the other end when the two of them are ball in hand.
Which I think is much as many batsmen feel about facing your bowling. So it's swings and roundabouts. Aiden Markram.
I hope so.
Oh dear.
You say obviously a lot of preparation goes into the batting, and now you're having to give some time to the bowling. Where do you find time for the grooming? Because a beard like that obviously doesn't, come around easily. So you have to give some hours to that, I would imagine.
Yes, I think it takes up most of my time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We're actually looking for someone that's interested in maybe sponsoring the cricket team. If anyone's listening and on the show, that would be keen. I mean, we're gonna. Our arms are open to accepting something like that.
I think it's glorious. And it's also, we won't name them, but there's certain players in kind of leadership roles currently opening the batting for Chennai with the over-reliance on the hair gel and the clothes 2 sizes too small. I think there's a rugged sort of early 1870s spaghetti western feel to the Aiden Markram look. It reassures me, Alan Committie. It makes me feel I'm in the hands of the right man here. That's what it does.
100%.
Very quickly, I see Michelle Cavarnos is watching. I'm a winning bowler. I bowl you over with my great wit. Thank you, Michelle. Nice to see you back on the show this week. And then, Angelique Kouvalakis, looking smart, Dan. That is the first question, first comment anybody has made on the show. It's always about Alan because it's mostly.
That's true. Look at that.
So
Kouvalakis. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's German. Right. So, Alan, I know, am I not mistaken? Have you got a special guest arriving to join us on the show?
Right now, so let me just go and see it. bring them
you go and grab that special guest. And while we do that, so we have a quiz each week, Aiden Markram, and it's 5 very simple questions. I can tell you JP Germany has the worst record of 1 out of 5. Ashwell Prince got 4 out of 5, and Darren Goff got 4 out of 5. So that's kind of your low and your high. Let's see how you manage. Are you ready for the big 2 full tossers quiz, Aiden?
Let's do this. Yeah.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Question number 1. Okay. You are one of 4 South Africans to have opened both the batting and the bowling in the same one-day international. Can you name 2 of the other 3?
Lance Klusener, 1.
Lance Klusener is 1. Congratulations.
I don't know. Can I name 2 more and see if one of them is?
Yep, you can go with that.
Sean Pollock, Graham Smith, and maybe Pat Simcox. I'm not sure.
All right, that's a no, and a no, I'm afraid. So you get half a point. You get half a point for Lance Klusener. The other 2, Robin Peterson, yourself, a crafty spinner. And the other one, and this was going back a bit, but somebody else who certainly looked after himself, Richard Snell, many years ago. So you're in good company. All right, half out of 1. You're halfway to JP Germany. Okay, you're also one of the few cricketers to have scored 3 consecutive half centuries in T20 internationals. Only 2 cricketers have scored 4 consecutive half centuries in T20 internationals. Who are those 2 cricketers?
I know one is Hash, if I'm not mistaken. I hope it's Ash. I'm not actually sure. And then, yes, I'm going to guess now again. David Warner, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma.
Just throw out as many names as you can remember, Aiden. Throw them all out there. You might hit it. I'm afraid you are wrong on every single count because the question are Chris Gale and Brendan McCullum.
Okay. Jeepers, all right. JP's target is at risk.
All right. You are half out of 2. On to question number 3. Your best mate is Brandon Stone, the golfer, and he has been relatively successful, not nearly as successful as you, but he's done all right. I'd like to know, how many European Tour wins does your best mate Brandon Stone have?
This is awful.
We've got a photo just to jog your memory. This is Brandon. How many European Tour wins? And Brandon's watching at the moment. You get this wrong, and you are unfriended on.
I'm going to go with 3.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm going to go with it.
Well, you're right. It's a good answer. 3 is correct. The BMW South African Open, the Alfred Dunhill Championship at Leopard Creek, and the Scottish Open in Aberdeen a couple of years ago, where he won a Chris Morris-like amount of money. He did particularly well. All right, go back. In fact, I think we've got a photo here. This is a photo of Aiden Markram about 25 years ago. That is little Aiden trying very hard to grow a moustache, if you look closely. And that is the Under-19 Cricket World Cup in 2014. It's only 7 years ago. You guys not only got through the group stages, not only got through to the final, but you won it. You captained them to victory. Player of the tournament, captain of South Africa, winning a World Cup. I'd like to know, go back to that final. Can you remember who the man of the match was?
I think I'm pretty sure it was Corbin Bosch.
It was Corbin Bosch, 4 for 15 in the final. A great performance. Well, there we go. That gets you another point. So you're up to 2.5 out of 4, blowing JP Germany out the water. Let's see if we make 3.5. Here is your final question. We go back to you. When you captained South Africa in One Day International, you became the 2nd youngest South African captain after Graham Smith, who had previously been the 2nd youngest captain of South Africa in a One Day International.
Sheesh, Dan. Got no idea. Let's go with. Should we go with Sean Pollock? Oh, no, it can't be him. No, it's not him. Sheepers. I'm not sure. Gary Kirsten?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, let's go with it. I'm really not sure.
All right, I'm afraid it's not Gary Kirsten. It was actually Hansie Cronje who dropped down to third as a result. He was just 24, 25, thereabouts, so not much older than you are. And it's a record you will extend when you get back into captaincy, as I've no doubt you will. And that will be a great highlight, but it won't be as big a highlight as the one that comes up. 2.5 out of 5 in your quiz. Not a bad effort. We've certainly had considerably worse. But the real smile on your face is coming up now, because I've got a very special guest to introduce you to, Aiden. I know you've met some cool people around the world. You've had some amazing times. You've hung out with some of the world's rich and famous and enormously cool. But I don't think you've ever before had an audience with the honorary life vice president of the Griqualand North Umpires and Scorers Association joining us this evening. And gee, are we excited. Please welcome Meneer Johan van der Walt.
Baie dankie. Oh, hallo daar. Hallo mense. Baie dankie. It's a groot eer. Don't laugh for me, Pop. This is on my time. Okay. You've also had time now to talk. Oh, I'm a good batsman. Oh, bliksem poep op rak. Nou is dit my tyd. Nou is dit my tyd, meneer. Ek is net, this is an honoration to be with someone whose father has founded Markram's store. Tell us what it was like growing up looking after that store. You know, the retail industry is tough, and I could imagine you must have spent some time there early in the years looking after the clothing industry. Is that something you remember fondly from your growing up?
It is incredibly tough, the retail.
Oh,
it is tough, it's difficult, but my father, he cracked it.
It's so.
Yeah, no.
Oh, bliksem, that's good. No, it's tough. Listen, you're a wonderful man. And I would imagine just looking for yourself, Popo. You know, you look after yourself. I myself have gone for the Kruiwagen comb over, but you have gone for like the cliffs of Dover. Prachtig. Ek kyk aan jou hare. Dis prachtig. How much gel can one man wear? Do you know what I mean? It's beautiful. It's like the parting of Moses down the one side. I think that's the juice. The gel, not the juice. And just prachtig, man. Are you the best? As jy die beste? Do you think you're the best looking man in the cricket side that you play in? I would imagine you are. I can't think of anyone that even come close to you. You're probably the Superman.
No, I was thinking the Bryce Shamsy.
Yeah, okay, he's beautiful, that uncle, hey, that's beautiful. He's no Derek Crooks, but he's wonderful. I know what you're saying. Okay, we don't have time. We will get to we're going to do quick answers, okay? I'm going to give you a choice of 2, and then you just think you answer without thinking. And I've seen you do that when you bat sometimes. I've seen you not think. And so I think you're going to be able to do this. So please, I just give you 2 choices. Dan kom jy met die antwoord.
Quick. Okay.
Quick. All right, quick. Quicker than sometimes you have been. All right. For you, do you prefer to face the first ball or not face the first ball?
Face the first ball.
Always. That's you, fronting up. Lekker, mooi. Do you prefer a front foot cover drive or a beautiful back foot punch?
Back foot punch.
Mooi. So there you're not fronting, you're backwooding. So that's interesting. There's a dichotomy there, ne? So I didn't know you were filled with dichotomy. You should use a cream. Okay. Facing at their peak, would you rather face Shane Warne at his peak or Wasim Akram at his peak?
Wasim Akram.
Really? Yeah, because
of that is 2.5 loss.
Yeah, you can work him with a pace. As an opener, do you prefer Michael Slater or Michael Atherton?
None of the above.
No, jy moet antwoord, Popo.
Michael Slater.
Yeah, because you don't want to say Australian. That I understand. It's hard. It's not nice to be able to say that. But you also can't say Michael Atherton, because even as I say the name, I want to fall asleep. So I hear what in terms of umpires, scheidsrechter, umpire, do you, sorry, my teeth are almost, do you prefer, stop it. I'm only laughing because I know what comes next. Do you prefer Richard Kettlebra of Ruud Toeker?
Ruud Koeker.
Ruud Toeker is beautiful. Yeah, she's wonderful. Okay, let's go back to openers. Jimmy Cook of Alistair Cook for you as an opener?
Jimmy Cook.
Always, you must say that. There's no other way. Alistair Cook. Yeah. For you, Federer of Nadal?
Federer.
Yeah, because you've got the same looks there. I see that. Okay, for you, the Hulk of the Thor. The Thor. The Hulk of the Thor.
I'm going to say Hulk.
Hulk. Yeah, power, right? Force. Okay, that's fine. Would you prefer to make 88 in no time or take 4 for very little?
No, take 4 for very little.
You see, I get it geweet. Fliksem, you don't even want to bat. You just want a bowl now. I cannot see. Okay, and the final question. This is our tricky now. Please, you must give this some thought now. I will give you the opportunity to make naught in a World Cup final, but our team wins. Or you score 100, but we don't know if we win or not. It could go.
Ek vat 0. 0 and we win.
Dis die regte antwoord, meneer. Dis die regte ding. That's it. Looking after the team. Please don't score 0. Don't be a poopel. Try and concentrate and persevere and look after yourself. But I thank you for your cause. I thank you for the looking after the team. Jy's 'n man bo manne. I don't even know what is that meaning. There it is. Dis 'n good thing. Look, it's time. I can't be talking to you all night. I've also got things to do. It's Maandag. Baie dankie, net tot weer sins.
Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
There you go, Jan van der Walt. Thank you. Very, very special member of our cricket community, Aiden.
Jeez, that is awesome.
I know Alan will be back with us in just a moment as he returns. Is it just golf, holiday, and woodworking for now? What are the plans? Or when do you go on holiday to the Caribbean?
The Caribbean holiday is planned, I think, to leave on the 1st of June. So that'll be like, it's obviously not confirmed yet, but that's in the pipeline and hopefully it goes ahead. But up until then, a lot of golf, trying to hit a few balls and train a bit and stuff like that, and then take on the Caribbean holiday when it comes.
Oh, magnificent it will be. I see a few people watching, and Nikki Ferreira wanting to know, Dan, is that the famous Richie Benaud cream jacket you're sporting? It's actually a very light blue pinstripe, but I'd like to think Mr. Benaud would have approved, even if it was violently garish by his rather precise standards. And Natasha, I'm not sure if that's Dole or Dole, but Natasha,
we love her.
Well, there we go. Aiden, a close second.
Dole is a fantastic doctor from South Africa who's currently working in the UK. Sadly, does support Indian cricket probably too vehemently. A close second to Kohli. I don't even know this Kohli that she speaks of, but I'm glad that she's joined. She's fantastic.
It's a type of virus, I think. You can see Kohli.
That's right. Dan, talking of names, you've got a son now. So you've got 2 gorgeous kids. What is your son's name, sir?
My son's name is Aiden.
This is incredible. And obviously named after...
my wife doesn't know this, but yes, that is exactly right. Named after Aiden Markram.
That is it.
Yes.
And
what we do quite often... Well, I know you're going to ask me about the but very quickly, what we do, and I recommend this to anybody out there, if perhaps, and it happens after a while, you may be going through a little marital strife, maybe the spark is gone in your life, maybe the romance just isn't there anymore. And quite simply, my wife will get home from work on a Friday night. I've packed the kids off to their aunt for the evening, and I've got some Barry White playing. I've got a nice bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon open. There are a couple of ribeyes, and what's on the TV? Some Aiden Markram highlights. I tell you what, there is nothing that quite works like a bit of Aiden Markram.
And look at those highlights that he's sporting now. Beautiful on his hair. Beautiful. That'll get any wife going. How lovely. So your son is called Aiden. Your daughter, I'm assuming, is called Markram. Is that right?
No, she's not called Markram, but the conception might have been there. We're a little hazy on that. Yeah, change rooms, they're very romantic places. Before my wife realizes what I'm saying on this particular show, Aiden Markram, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. I know we're seeing each other on the golf course next week. More importantly, can't wait to see you back on the field, scoring more runs for South Africa and doing what you do so well and so effortlessly and giving us so much joy along the way. So thank you.
All the best,
Thank
sir.
you, Dan. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate it.
There we go. He's one of these guys. You cannot find anything you don't like about him, and it's quite annoying sometimes.
That's very irritating.
Yeah, but he's in that category, and it's a small one where you can almost possibly think that you might consider it being marginally okay for him to take your daughter out for coffee at 11 o'clock in the morning. No, he's just is that nice.
Cool. But he is that nice, isn't he? He is just lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter, this has been a cracker of a show. A lovely guest. We found out that Vernon's coming back to the cricket fold, which is just going to delight me no end for the week. And just to remind everyone that Lee Barnard, are we saying Lee Barnard is available? Are we saying this? Are we saying Lee Barnard is available for the team?
He's available for selection. And look, if Skulk Brits can play in a Rugby World Cup, then Lee Barnard can come back for South Africa. And on that note of hope, of optimism, of belief, we bid you a fond farewell from two full tossers, and we look forward to next week when we will be back with another superstar guest, another lost legend, and another week of not watching Rajasthan Rovers take on Mumbai United in the league that Alan does not watch. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Thanks, Aiden Markram. Goodbye.